welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys the process on how we made the tail stand. I had a few questions about how we made it. I featured it in my last video on how to clean a silicone tail, but we actually upgraded it. So what we did was we originally, if you go back and see the video, it was bident style, which means that we had to put the stand inside the tail and then hang it up, but we kind of changed it so that it's more of a C-shaped kind of style that would hold the fluke up on the sides rather than from the inside. As I've mentioned in that video, it's bad to have something inside the foot pockets, especially since the silicone is very heavy and it could damage the rubber of the foot pocket and it could damage the silicone, so it's a lot more risky. This new style is a lot better because you can just hang it up and you don't really have to worry as much about it, so it's less risky for the tail. It puts less pressure on the foot pockets themselves. Instead, it puts all of the pressure on the sides of the fluke, which is reinforced with silicone. And so now I can use it as both kind of a storage / display stand and a drying rack at the same time. So what you're going to see in the video is basically my husband doing all of the work, and I will do a voiceover in the background. If you like this content and if you want to see more of the behind the scenes of my mermaid life, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any videos. I put out swim videos, reviews, kind of like vlogs and how-tos and stuff like that. So anyway, let's get into it and
I would prefer to start from the top and work my way down, just because I think it would be easier to allow the epoxy to set while I'm doing the other jobs. The reason why we're using epoxy is because the threads may not stop exactly where we want them to. So that's tight. Right now it's actually facing downwards, so it's not ideal. So we're going to use epoxy to seal it so that it only faces one direction.
Hi guys, I'm going to go ahead and relay the instructions to you guys via voiceover because my husband, I love him so much, is very quiet and he's very difficult to hear. So basically the 2 points that I wanted to get across is you start from the top to the bottom, so the hook down to the base, and you use epoxy glue because you're going to need to glue the thread in place. Okay? For the materials of this project, we used galvanized steel, 1/2 inch in diameter. I don't know what they're called, but we basically used 4 small pieces and 2 elbow pieces, 1 T-piece, and then a 1/2 inch of the really long stand. The way we measured it was we measured my tail and then added 10 inches to that so that there's a little bit of like a gap between the floor and the tail so it's not dragging onto the ground, and there's enough room for my dryer to sit under. We also used 2 galvanized steel caps to cap the end, and we didn't glue that one down so that we can replace the foam parts on the stand. What we used for the foam are pool noodles that we got from the dollar store. We cut it up and then we wrapped it around the arm so that it'll provide a little bit of a cushion for the tail. The very first thing you're going to do is prep your epoxy glue. Please follow the instructions on the packaging because everyone's different, and if it's not done properly, it will not cure properly. You also have to work quickly with this because it does cure fast. The very next thing you do is you'll start to assemble your T piece or your U piece, whichever one you want to call it, by attaching 2 small rods to the horizontal part of the T. This is going to form the back parts of your tail stand, and this is also going to form part of the hook that holds your tail up by the fluke. Don't forget to apply epoxy glue to the threading to keep it in place. I also want to add that you guys should be working in a well-ventilated area with open windows because the fumes from the epoxy glue are very, very dangerous. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to attach a small rod to one side of your elbow piece and then attach the other end to your T piece, and this will form the arms that will hold your fluke up and provide it some support. The part that's facing downwards will have the very long 5-foot rod, or however long the longer rod that you're going to put it in, that will attach to the base. So it'll basically look like a robot hugging your tail. That's the best description I can. Oh, and if you guys miss the instructions, I will have them listed down below in like a step 1, step 2 kind of deal. And once you have all of the pieces of your U or your T piece glued it down, set it aside to dry. The next thing you're going to work on is the base. So you're going to take your wooden circle and find where the exact center of it is. Then you're going to off-center it on one side by 2 or 3 inches. I think we did 2.5. The reason why you off-center it is because once you install the stand and the tail and everything, you want the tail to be in the center of the stand, and that way it'll be balanced and it won't teeter off to one side or the other. Once you figure out your placement for your flange, use a pen to trace out where the screw holes are, and then use a drill to drill holes into your wood base. Once you have your base prepped and holes are drilled into it, you can go ahead and secure your flange down with some screws. It's going to look a little funny at first because it's off-centered and your OCD is going to bother you like it did me, but trust me, once your tail is on there, you won't even notice that it's off-centered. And it's better this way anyway, because then your tail won't be off-centered once you actually put it on the stand. And once your flange is fully secured onto the base, you can just screw in your longest piece and then screw in your U piece at the very top, and you're almost done. You just have to let it cure for 24 to 48 hours, I would say, just so that it will, it's fully cured and it can hold up your tail. If you try to put your tail on it before it's cured, it's probably going to fall off and break, and it's not going to be a very happy day for you. So I would say let it cure. Another thing is that you're going to need a back brace for your tail stand, because this by itself is not going to support your big fluke. In our case, we just recycled, or rather repurposed, the old bident, drilled some holes into it, and used some zip ties to attach it to the back, and it supports my fluke more than well enough. Another thing that you can do is you can, instead of getting the T piece, you can also get a cross piece so that it'll have one small galvanized steel piece going upward to support your fluke. That way it won't be off kiltered or off balance. Thank you guys so much for tolerating this video. I really appreciate you coming to support me. If you found this video helpful, or if you like my content, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, because I really like the support. If you have any suggestions on what video you want to see or what you want me to do next, leave it in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys next video. Bye!